We're smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome inside the locker room. Good morning, Tega Onojiafe, the princess.
Good morning. Hop on the week Wednesday.
Thank God it's Wednesday.
Thank God it's Wednesday. And so on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, whichever part of the world you were at the time, it was Brazil, Argentina at the Maracana, the historic Maracana Stadium. So we'll be talking about that a little bit on this show. We'll also be talking about how Nigerians are happy because how South Africans had a misfortune in Rwanda.
How
Just
you
like
are
we had
happy,
about,
how you are not unhappy also.
I don't know about that. I say Nigerians in general. I'm not from Cameroon.
You are in Nigeria.
I'm not from Cameroon. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So we'll touch on that a little bit, and then we'll talk about the IOC on transgender. Yes, they've come up and they've said it categorically. Well, at least for the next 2 years. And I hope everybody will toe that line. We'll talk about what the ICC, not the IOC, the Cricket International Cricket Commission, so the ICC said this, and we are hoping the IOC will follow and every other sports body. But we'll tell you what they said about transgender. But before we do all this talking, Omatseye, how can we be a part of the locker room today?
To be part of the locker room will be for you to send us a WhatsApp message to the phone line on 0809 444 0981. Once again, 0809 444 0981 will be where we'd love to read the messages as they relate to sports stories. Tega will be breaking down this morning. But you can as well reach down to a YouTube channel, youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Would also leave us a message there and also subscribe to a YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. We'll see your messages and your comments there also. Tega, the bill is set.
Right, so headlines first, and then we start with Nigeria, of course.
On the bill this morning, we first will see we've got no money to fire Pesero, says the NFF, as transgender athletes banned from playing international women's cricket. There is also Argentina defeat Brazil 1-0 in the 2026 World Cup qualifier. As you would also be told, Sane sees red as Germany woes continue against Austria. Then Tega would also let us know Bafana lost to Rwanda clash in the opening stages, according to Bruce. And then you would find oldest Italy, Czech Republic, and Slovenia qualify for Euro 2024, as there would be Premier League. Newcastle can sign players on loan from the PIF-owned Saudi clubs after vote. There is also World Cup 2026 qualifying. Ghana shocked by Comoros as Senegal and Cameroon held. These and more you would find as we get along. So Tega,
All right.
Here we go.
So yesterday,
the Nigerian
everybody
Football Federation.
Yes. Everybody, and in fact, that's what made it. It's not your victory is not the excitement now. It's the downfall of the rivals. That's the excitement. So we'll talk about how Ghana suffered and how South Africa suffered and how Cameroon were held. But first, let's talk about Nigeria's situation, because our own is still there.
The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, would fire coach Jose Pesero if they had the money to pay him off after 2 poor performances in the World Cup qualifiers, according to Executive Committee member Nse Essien.
So remember when Nigeria dropped points again against Zimbabwe in Rwanda, Butare, the same place that Rwanda defeated South Africa. I'm going to keep saying this as often as possible. just so I feel better. But after that match, a lot of Nigerians had said the coach had to be fired. Look at the tactics, look at his selection. Why does he keep calling certain players? Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And the NFF has come out to say, look, first of all, we're not the ones that hired him, which was shocking because ideally, the federation is supposed to be hiring the coach. So they say, first of all, it's the sports ministry that hired him. Secondly, we are owing him so much money. Um, First of all, I'm not even sure that the NFF has finished paying Gernot Rohr. Remember that Gernot Rohr was fired like that, and then FIFA said we must pay Gernot Rohr a certain amount of money. I'm not sure we finished paying that one. So to add Jose Pesero, who we are already owing months of salaries, and then you're going to fire him, so you're going to pay him that compensation sack money. And the NFF is saying we don't have. So we cannot afford to fire him. So all these months people are making, people should just soak your chapel inside water and pray for AFCON because we cannot fire him. I think his contract runs out maybe after AFCON. So Nigerians are just going to have to probably endure to after AFCON, except we want to do GoFundMe in these tough times for GoFundMe to sack Jose Pesero. That's the only way we can sack him. But we are too broke to sack him. You can't be broke and proud. Manage what you have. But I think it's also critical to mention, even before hiring Jose Pesero and all of that, what is the criteria for hiring coach? Because the last president that hired Jose Pesero said he called his good friend Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho said he should hire Pesero. I'm like, Jose Mourinho didn't suggest himself for you. I mean, he's your good friend. Why didn't you come and work for free? All this drama that we have around the NFF and all these Nollywood stories we keep telling in football. But what is the criteria for hiring a coach? Are we hiring who is affordable, who is available, or are we hiring the best for the plans that we have? And then what are the football plans that you have? That ultimately decides who you hire. So even the Nigerian Federation is not clear on what they want. They're not clear on how they're going to go about to get what they want. So it leads to all this hiring of people, of coaches that are not fit for purpose. I mean, we're talking about the Super Eagles. The Super Falcons have been playing under interim coach in their past few matches in the qualification for the Olympics, and then also in the qualification for WAFCON that is going to come up. They're still going to be playing without Randy Waldrum because his situation hasn't been sorted. My initial suggestion, which was fire him after the World Cup, they didn't. And here they are, going back and forth. We're not sure if Randy Waldrum is staying or if he's leaving. Another coach is the one drafting up the list for these qualifiers, and the girls are in limbo. So it's a persistent problem throughout the NFF, and this body cannot keep saying, "Oh, that we just came into office." You've been here for over a year. Fix up.
Okay. Let's transit now to what we hear now. Transgender women who have been through male puberty have been barred from international cricket, women's cricket, under the new regulations announced by the International Cricket Council, ICC, on Tuesday.
Yes. Now, this is the best news I've heard, and I've often said it. You have to play according to biology because there's some physiological advantages that, regardless of the fact that you are taking medication to suppress, your testosterone levels, your muscles already give you advantage. The length of your limbs give you advantage. And so when you see your build, your physiology gives you advantage, which is why there is heavyweight boxing, there's featherweight boxing, there's lightweight boxing. Even if they are all men, they can't box in the same category. There's a reason.
Yes.
Because there is physiological advantage. You put Floyd Mayweather with his 50-0 record in the same ring with Anthony Joshua, and it's a suicide mission. So there's physiological advantage is recognized. So it is ridiculous to say that, okay, because these transgender women are now taking medication or whatever it is to suppress their testosterone levels, that they can compete with women is ridiculous. And I like what the ICC said, regardless of if you're taking the medication, as long as you've gone through male puberty, and that's where the development and the definitions become completely different. Because, once you know how it is when you're hitting the male puberty, that's when you see the difference in the boys versus girls is very clear.
The
Because because at some point
pimples,
you see the girls
stars.
growing, when they're younger, the preteens, you see the girls growing. Sometimes they're the same height, sometimes the girls are even taller. Then those
Yes.
boys hit 14
Well,
and
go
they
on.
shoot up like palm trees. You're just like, what is happening? Yes. And so once you pass through male puberty, you cannot compete with women again. It's categorical. I like
That's
it.
undue advantage. It's not fair.
Yes, it is certain. Women did not fight to compete, to compete in sports. They did not fight for equal rights just to lose all that rights, to people that are biologically male competing. I mean, think about it. In the US, there's a state that all the records is two guys have won it in track and field, two men. And when those boys were boys,
oh my God,
they couldn't win anything as boys. So they became transgender.
They say they don't see their mates.
Do you understand? They're winning every track and field 100 meter and 200 meters record in the States. And they're setting all the records. So you go to the podium, it's those two guys and then any random girl that can make it through.
Oh, no.
The same thing with that boy that was ranked 150th in collegiate swimming in USA. And now he's the best female athlete. And he has set records that only God knows who will break it. It has to be a professional athlete that will break it, because amateur athlete can't break it as female.
Yeah, Tega.
And so you see all these things. Oh, I am so mad. You see all these things going on. Can you imagine that we went through about women riots just so that men will come and be taking these records?
No, but they are women. You can't they are women now.
No, transgender women are transgender women. They are not women. I stand by this every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Take me to the ISIS. I will say it. Transgender women are transgender women. End of discussion.
Moving on. Let's go to.
And so the ICC has said that that's what's going to hold for the next 2 years, and then they'll revisit this issue. I hope that by the time they're revisiting this issue, I would have got my activism law degree.
Okay.
So that I will push for permanence. All right. So that note, let's go to the next story.
Maracana we go now, and Argentina defeated Brazil a goal to nil on Tuesday in a very ill-tempered 2026 World Cup qualifying clash that was marred by pre-match crowd trouble that forced the kickoff to be delayed. The rivalry, is it this tense?
Oh, wait. Are you asking about Brazil Argentina? Are you kidding me? That's the rivalry that set the tone for all rivalries. What are you talking about? They don't even speak the same language.
I thought the ultimate goal was heaven in the first place. This is just a sport.
Yes, we are going to heaven after Maracana. That's how they do it there. So first of all, there was a battle off the pitch. Yes, they started with kicking each other off the pitch before they started with kicking the football on the pitch. So the start was delayed. You have to remember that Argentina had also desecrated Brazil, so by beating them to win the Copa America. So now Argentina is coming from a loss against Uruguay. They lost by 2-0. Their first loss in I think 14 matches since the World Cup match against Saudi Arabia. And then Brazil is coming against a loss against Colombia. So both teams needed to win. Both teams needed to bounce back. And they were playing at the Maracanã, and it's Argentina playing against Brazil in Maracanã. That's a holy stadium for the Brazilians. Only for Brazil to get on the pitch. And truth be told, the fight that started off the pitch continued to the pitch because it was not a fluid game. There were fouls every 2 seconds. No, there was literally per second. The ball was not fluid. It was basically a lot of wrestling with a sprinkling of football. And then Joe Linton got sent off in the match. Eventually, Argentina scored one goal and they protected that goal with more fights and less football. At the end of the day, yes, Argentina won the battle. Yeah. In fact, Argentina won the Royal Rumble because that wasn't really football. And they got all the points. So Brazil, this is going to be heavy for Brazil. There's going to be repercussions. The players are going to hear of it. And unlike the Nigerians that are only saying kick Jose Pesero out, they are even calling the players that they think did not play well.
Yes.
In the past few matches, they are calling them by name. And they're saying this person must not wear the Brazil jersey again. So it's a tough one. Oh, there are repercussions. There are repercussions. Okay. Everybody's mad right now at the Brazilian team. But we'll see how this pans out for the victory of football. But yes, it was a tough battle between Argentina and Brazil.
We would come back and get to read your messages reacting to the sports stories on 0809 444 0981 after now.
Omas, are there messages now? Omas? Are there messages?
Yes, I see one. From AY from Muniru. Yes, there is one. So maybe while I think
we should have read that one before we give them the number. So when we come back, we'll start with that message, then give them the numbers to send their messages to, and then continue from there.
All right. Please speak with our business concierge on 0700-77-684-387 or email businessconcierge@providusbank.com to switch to a virtual forward banking experience. Providus Bank, future forward banking. Marketplace that connects buyers and sellers. Buy from the comfort of your home and get access to a wide range of products. If you are a seller, just when you're good, don't more than fact that touch of a button. Visit shop.page now to get started on mobile. What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providus Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providus Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providus Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700-77-684-387 or email businessconcierge@providusbank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Providus Bank, future forward banking. This is full We're smooth. 98.1 FM is still the locker room, and Tega Onojiafe is still here, and we're looking at the sports stories. So Tega, I got a message in here from AY from Muniru with a message telling us La Classic, Brazil, Argentina during the early hours of this morning was almost cancelled due to the clash between the fans and the local police. But thankfully, that didn't stop the game from taking place at the Maracana as Brazil suffered their first loss ever at home in a World Cup qualifying game. That's how
it was tough. It was tough. The videos from that place, they were bloody. I saw them carrying a fan with a bloodied head injury. Yes, it was bloody.
That's
And it didn't make any sense really. But yeah, and that traveled to the pitch and with the players kicking themselves. So as much as we're talking about the fans fighting, we have to also talk about the fact that once it comes to this clash, there will be fights.
well, that eventually means people would be nursing scars they've gotten for just the love of football for their country, as it looks on both
Oh,
sides at the end of the day.
yeah. Well, primarily on one side because it was the Argentine fans that got the bad end of it. They're
Okay.
playing in Brazil, so of course, when the Brazil police was, was flogging people, I didn't see any yellow jerseys being flogged. I saw white and blue jerseys being flogged. All right. On
Okay.
that note, let's take some of your messages. We'll hear. We're waiting to receive more of your messages at these numbers. I'm not sure you give them the numbers again.
0809-444-0981 or leave us a message on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. That takes us to Leroy Sané was shown red for lashing out at an opponent as Germany went down 2-0 to Austria in Vienna on Tuesday, continuing their woeful run just 6 months from hosting Euro 2024.
All right. Another case of is the coach's fault, and now they fired the coach, and the players are still giving the same result under a new manager, Julian Nagelsmann. Now, this is a young, promising manager, a manager people know is used to winning. The same previous coach was also a winner. But you know what they say: you can fire one man, you cannot fire 23 players. Here we are again with another German team. This time they're playing against Austria. I know they're playing away from home, but they're playing against Austria. And Austria defeated Germany by 2-0. You can argue about, the red card to Leroy Sané, but come on. Even before the red card, you watch the German side set up, and it was a horrible view to watch. Again, some of these coaches, I don't know what they see in Kai Havertz because they're always picking him, and he's not the scapegoat yet. Everybody on the German team, will be blamed. But when he's at the spotlight end of the pitch, the goal scoring end of the pitch, you're going to have to question what he's doing with the ball. And you look at the way the Germans played, their passes were most in general incomplete, their communication lost, they weren't stretching the pitch, they were too narrow, and narrow offensively, narrow defensively. So it was easy for the Austrians to take advantage of that. You look at the entire German team, and this is back-to-back losses. And this is against Austria. I'm not sure that in Austria's life they would have thought, oh, we're going to be able to beat Germany in 2023. But Germany has fallen that low, that they're losing to Austria. So it's a tough one. And they're the ones hosting Euros 2024. So I don't know when they will recover because we've seen the Dutch go through a transitionary period, and they've recovered. And it's not the most confident, but they're a lot better, and they're through to the Euro 2024. We saw Spain have a little bit of it. We even saw Italy. In fact, Italy is still recovering, but they still managed to qualify for the Euros. Germany.
So this in itself brings two questions in. They are the ones hosting, and it's 4 months to it. So even if they don't, wouldn't they still be part of the competition? So how important is this winning?
They are definitely going to be part of the competition, but the difference is, with the other people that had to qualify, your team can have hope that you played competitively, you beat some teams, you got a certain number of points, and you qualified for the tournament. Germany is getting a free pass. We're not sure they would have qualified on the strength of their games. And then they will get to the Euros and disgrace their country at home.
Oh, okay.
So that is the worry for the federation. That is the worry for the German fans. The entire team is not performing.
It looks like a team that needs a lot of oiling right now and greasing before this machine needs oiling.
It doesn't even look like it. we don't even, so it's looking like a Manchester United problem. You don't know what the real problem is. You don't know where to start solving their problems from. So if you know the real problems of the German national team, you send us
Yes.
a message on
080944400981 will be where we like to read that. But then I must give this credit to you. Something has been living in my head rent free for a while, and you are the cause of that, Chega. How do you inspire me with a word like you Maguire to I don't know that it's been in
aspire
my
to Maguire.
I don't know how that thing has stayed in my head. I just said I was going to tell you that, please. So let's go over now to South Africa. Bafana blew their hopes of World Cup success in Rwanda early on Tuesday's Group C qualifier, claimed Hugo Bros as while blaming the pitch and the others travel for his team's woes on Tuesday. Looks like travel time is a suspect here.
Oh, please. Oh, please. They played on Tuesday.
Yeah.
They should have known when to travel and then complain about the pitch. That's just average. An expert does not blame his tools, please. If you are good at what you do, you will not blame the tools. So yes, the same complaint about the travel time again that the Super Eagles will talk about with their team, but very unnecessary because Rwanda is just literally there, right around the corner. But they were beaten from the very first start. Blast of the whistle. They were second to every ball. They were second in pace, second to in every challenge, every 50-50 challenge. They came out at a disadvantage, and it was not because the referee was going against them. It was just somehow they were second on the day, and Rwanda was able to beat them at home, the same stadium that the Nigerians played at. And of course, I had heard the complaints about the pitch earlier on that it's not grass per se, it's artificial. So of course, a lot of players struggle on it. If it's the women's team, there'll be no noise. But with the men's team, they'll be like, oh, we are exposed to better, so people should give us better. All these struggles and all these stories still come down to the fact that South Africa were beaten. And what that does is that throws open the group wide because Rwanda is now top of that group with 4 points. And then South Africa are second with 3 points. Then Nigeria, Lesotho, and Zimbabwe. Nigeria is third, but they're on the same number of points, which is 2 with Lesotho and Zimbabwe. And then Benin comes last with 1 point. So the group is very open, as opposed to if South Africa would have won and they'd be on 6 points, then it becomes an even tougher battle for the Super Eagles. So Rwanda winning, which is why a lot of Nigerians were celebrating, Rwanda winning put Nigeria back into the mix with a hope for qualifying. But the question is, can the Super Eagles beat Rwanda and South Africa based on the form that they've shown so far in the last 2 matches?
who can now convince me that the god of soccer is not a Nigerian after
Do
this
you
kind
understand? At the end of the day, you needed to see I mean, it was shameful and disgraceful, that you're celebrating Rwanda's win. But also, the Agbaya me did not care. I was like, at least we are in the conversation. We'll talk about my shame and embarrassment tomorrow. Today, we celebrate the win. But the question is, can the Super Eagles now defeat Rwanda or South Africa? Because it's one thing to celebrate that you are back into the competition. It's another thing to take advantage of the fact that you are back into the competition.
All right, let's go over to reigning champions. Italy secured their ticket for Euro 2024 on Monday after holding on to a nervy goalless draw against Ukraine in their final qualifier, while Czech Republic and Slovenia also clinched places at next year's final.
All right, so Czech Republic and Slovenia, the celebration was wild. They were looking to get back in, but Italy are the Euro Championships holders. And like I said, they're still in a transitionary period and they're struggling to get wins. Against Ukraine, they did struggle. They created a lot of chances, but you can now see why they need a lethal number 9 in their on their side to bury the chances that they created. But there was a controversial moment where Modric you know him of Chelsea, got the ball in the 18-yard box and Cristante stopped him by hook and by crook. Now, when I looked at the contact, there was contact between Cristante and Modric, But what Mudryk did was he played for the penalty and lost out because he pushes the ball and then he leaves his leg because he saw that Cristante was lunging in. Unfortunately, Cristante lunges in with Mudryk's both feet on the ground. Then Mudryk now lunges like a rocket from the ground. As soon as he felt the side contact, he lunges like a rocket and tumbles in the 18-yard box. All those kind of things go into play when, the referee and the video assistant referee is looking at it. Like, you're playing for something and you didn't get it. So was there contact by Cristante on Mudryk? Yes. Is every contact in the 18-yard box a penalty? I don't think so. Football is a contact sport, so I won't have given the penalty ultimately, and the referee didn't give it. So Italy qualified, and a lot of us say no, Ukraine was robbed. I don't think there was robbed. It was not a categorical penalty. It wasn't given. 0-0 scoreline. Italy are through. And on that note, let's just wrap up with one or two messages because we are completely out of time.
So let's throw this one in from Kelvin Davis. It says, I don't know how Brazil went from supporting Messi and Argentina to win the World Cup to breaking their head to win a fixture against them. It is so misleading. With their kind of rivalry, never would I have thought they would ever wish Argentina to win the World Cup. Then
I think it was when Mbappe said that in South America, they don't really compete. They're not competitive teams, that the competitive teams are in Europe.
All right. So Chukwudi would
all the South Americans galvanized. They're like, we must bring this cup back to the continent.
Yeah. So Chukwudi sent in a message. He says, I think the plan of the German team is to continue to surprise their fans anytime they think they have just watched the worst German team ever. Chukwudi sent in that one. And then I've got Ibukun says, Tega, so that is how my darling man you will catch stray bullets on top Germany. Now, wow.
Don't worry, you catch the real bullets on Friday.
Yeah. Tega, you are basically just described what I call Super Eagles 101. AY from Oniro. That's the site of the show, Tega.
All right. Thank you so much for sending your messages. Thank you so much for tuning into the locker room. On Friday, we'll be going back to club football. Yeah. And yes, all the bullets this time will be direct shots.
All right.
On that note, thank you very much for Omatseye for hosting. So we'll see you on Friday.
And until Friday, don't ever forget to Maguire to aspire, according to Tega. Bye, Tega.
Aspire to Maguire. Bye.